And I'll do them one at a time, and we'll do a couple of reps of each one. So if you've got your sticks there, you can train along with them. And then we'll pop the video out so that you can work in time with the video as well and get it. And then as soon as I get any updates from Jake about what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right or where the extra one come from, then of course I'll tell you guys so that we're all doing it right. Okay, brilliant. So we start off at the beginning, a good place to start. I'm gonna have to watch the sound of music at one point in my life because I keep quoting that. So warm the wrists up to start off with. Tight fingers, loose wrists. Everybody's disappeared. Oh, no, they're back again.
You bored them.
Excellent. I don't mind that at all. So, the number one strike is down. And of course, we're attacking and defending at the same time. So the number one strike is that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. The number two strike is down that way. And we pivot, strike down, let the hand come back round to the shoulder, pivot over, strike around. Watch out for the wardrobe door. Number three is an upward strike. Upward. And because of the power of this is going to get away from us, we're going to lock it onto the other stick, roll it back around our head so that we're ready to go again. So it's up, round the stick, up, round the stick, up, stick, up, stick, up, and stick, up, and stick. Excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4, pivot on the inside, striking up, letting the stick come back around. Two more for luck. Excellent. And then number 5, the drop down to the hips, and we're striking with the Songiti with the tip straight into the face, and it goes round the shoulder. Excellent. Now this is the new ones. Number 6, tap down so that it spins around. And we can redondo. Tap down so it comes around. And we can redondo. We're aiming at the temples of this one. So I use me on the computer as a guide. Just one up there on that computer up there. Excellent. And now we're tapping down. Stick goes over. We backhand to protect the back. We forehand to protect the front. And then we strike in a number 1. Hey Louis. Louis. Oh, there. We gotta go. No, heads first on. Tap down. Backhand. Forehand. Strike. So do a couple more. Tap down, backhand, forehand, strike, backhand, forehand, strike, backhand, forehand, strike, backhand, forehand, strike. Excellent. So that's the most complicated one. After that, they get an awful lot easier. So now we're going to do... Oh, hey Gary. Cool. We're just getting up to number 7. We're going to go backwards with our hands, and the Songiti goes up in line with that. The tip. So we're attacking the person with that tip. Excellent. So we can go up with that one. We can come down with the next one.
You said you started early, but you started late, so that's the time.
Ah. Have you changed your clocks, Gary? We're an hour different apparently over the weekend. That's all right. We'll recap in a minute. Get 2 sticks, watch along, and you can play in a second. Okie dokie. Now, the double skipping rope is the way I've coined this one. The hands go down and around.
Oh, the double skipping rope.
A double skipping rope. Someone comes in with a big block or a big attack at the front, knock them down with both hands at the same time. Nice and easy. And then last but not least, we're going to do the hip to the knee. Hip to the knee is the number 12, but then I've managed to find a 13. So the hands come down underneath here so that we can move them in and out. And then we'll open the gap up and strike with the knee. Open with the knee. It's very close to a can-can, except I'm violent and I've got sticks. But you do get to see my nice socks because my feet are cold. Excellent. And then last, it's kind of like we're playing drums with the end of it. We go a 1, a 2, stab. 1, a 2, stab. 1, 2, stab. 1, 2, stab. And up there, a 1, 2, stab. 1, 2, stab. 1, 2, stab. A 1, 2, stab. Excellent. So for those of you watching at home, I'll go through them quickly. And number 1, happy. 1, 2, 2. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5, the drop to the waist. Number 6. Number 7. Just because these are fun. There we go. And then number 8, backhand. And you see how this one's there to attack, but this one's behind it. So if something comes in, I need to attack them or defend back. And then the opposite way down. And the double skipping rope. And the tips. Striking outwards, lifting that knee up at the same time, getting rotation in the wrists. I'm keeping my elbows close to my body so that it takes the pressure off of my wrists. If they're out here, it hurts even more to get them like that, but if they're sucked in, it hurts a lot less. And then the 3 tips. 1, 2, stab. 1, 2, stab. 1, 2, stab. 1, 2, stab. Excellent. So that's the 12 that I have somehow managed to make 13. So the Dirty Dozen plus 1. But all these are is an idea to warm the wrists and the body up so that we're then able to play with them. But it covers most of the range of things that we want to be able to do. So if we're doing a cadenza or something where we're just free playing, we've got all these bits already attached that we can start working with. Okay, cool. Hope you've got that. I'm going to send the video out and a little picture, and then I want you to rewrite it in the words that you understand so that you can then do it. And then fingers crossed we'll be able to meet up soon and be able to go through it together. If not, send me copies of you guys doing it and we'll have a look. We can either make a compilation if you're feeling brave enough to show everybody, or just so that I can have a look at you and go, oh no, you're doing that bit slightly wrong, which probably means I was doing it wrong when I showed you it. Okay, cool. Right, something slightly different for tonight. Just for the next 10 minutes, I want to go over some knife work to give you something to think about. I'm going to stop tapping them together, otherwise it'll make lots of noise. So I'm going to give you a little bit of knife work to think about. I want you, whilst you're at home, as we said last week, to start studying anatomy and looking through your anatomy pictures about how the veins and arteries work and how the muscles are attached to it and where the certain bones are that attach it, so that when we work through the knife work, what they've come up with in the military is that if you call out what you're doing at the same time as doing it, if for some reason you end up getting interrupted in the middle of it, i.e. you go to stab someone in the eyes and the opponent stops you and blocks you, if you then go, oh, hang on a minute, after attacking the eyes, I've got to go to the carotid artery, and then to the subclavial, and then the brachial, and then down to the ribs, and then to the femoral artery. And if you get used to saying it in that order, your brain then starts to remember and go, oh yeah, that one didn't go quite as well as planned, so we've got that one, and then we've got onto that one, and then work onto them. Okay, so targets we're going to use is your eyes to start off with. Not everybody wears glasses, but the eyes is a perfect one, and the knife, in order to do that, of course, has to go in an angle to get into the socket. Then we're going to move on. Ah, Maynard, you fell asleep. Once upon a time, there was a little boy called Maynard, and he had a teddy bear. So, oh, this is the bit that Maynard will know. He'll be able to tell me that I'm getting the names of these bits wrong. Cool. So, the carotid artery down the side there. As you know, we've got veins and arteries. Probably did them the wrong way around. Yeah, thanks, Maynard. We're aiming to go into them on a sideways so that we can go in and pull forwards. So it's an in and pull forwards. So we've got the eye, we've got the in and pull forwards for the subclavial. The brachial, follow that down where that triangle is. We're looking to put the knife inside the triangle, and inside there we've got not only the tendons that we want that make this arm work, but we've got the artery follows it down. So although it's a tight hole, the bones will push this thing in the right way and cut the bit that we want to be able to do. So we've got an eye, we've got the subclavial, then we've got the brachial. If the brachial gets stuck, we can put our other hand on it and make sure it goes home. Then after the subclavial, we've got the brachial. We're going in underneath. So if we don't get the bits at the top, we stand a chance of getting them at the bottom. And then by going in at the bottom, we can then cut across the bicep and get through it that way. And because of the way we're coming into it, it opens up the inside of the arm, makes it a little bit easier to get into these things. So eye in it. Subclavial. That carotid subclavial, and then straight across that bicep there. Now the ribs. We of course have got to turn the knife sideways to go through the ribs. And just for practice, I always do 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One of them might get in, and we're just trying to pop into that. And you've got to remember, just one of these strikes should be enough to be able to dissuade the person from what we're doing and be able to escape it. And then after that, we have the femoral, the inside of the leg and the groin area, both inside and outside. But ideally, we want to be cutting the inside of one and then the inside of the other. So we get used to going to the eyes, to the carotid, to the subclavial, to the brachial, to the ribs, and then to both sides of the femoral. Okay, I'm going to borrow Jo briefly. You want to join in?
No.
She gets to be my unglamorous assistant.
Thank you. Cunt.
So, if you've got a partner at home, you can use them as a dummy. If you haven't, a mirror works really well. I was just using the reverse picture of myself. So we get used to constantly going into the eyes, into the neck, into the shoulder joint, underneath the shoulder, crossed, ribs, I could do both in a minute, and then one, and then the other. So we've got the eyes, we've got the throat, into the shoulder, got the armpit, and across the bicep. 1, 2, 3 down the ribs, both sides of the legs. Okay? Okay? Stand still. Eyes, throat, neck, armpit, bicep, ribs, both sides of the arms. Eyes, neck, throat, bicep. 1, 2, 3. Cross. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, Oh, cool. Thank you very much. Find it an awful lot easier if I remember the names and say them as I'm doing them. Because if something happens, an arm gets in the way or a piece of clothing that I can't get through, I get naturally used to moving through. And in the stress of the situation that's happening, I want to be able to remember as best I can what it is I've got to do. Now, yes, this is a training knife, and yes, we're thinking about using knives to do some incredibly nasty damage. And if we do end up cutting into the carotid artery, you've got, what, 2 to 8 minutes, Maynard? It's not worth calling an ambulance. You're just going to make a puddle on the floor. Now, most of you guys, all of you guys watching are nice people. So you're probably not going to carry a knife with you. And even if someone does break into your house, you're not going to be thinking, oh, I'm going to stab them with the knife. Because you're nice people. You don't think that way. Nasty people think that way. That's what our tactical torches are for. It's got a nice ridged edge on the front of it, so that we can catch some DNA of the person, and it will still be able to go into the eye, into the throat, into the shoulder, under the armpit, onto the bicep, ribs, 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 and inside of the groin on both things. Plus, as an added bonus, it's a bit bright too. Yep, that just blew that one out too. So we can go eyes, throat, shoulder, armpit, bicep, rib, rib, ribs, legs. Excellent. I would send you all guys the little charts that I use and the pictures, but I want you to start looking at anatomy books whilst you're sitting at home bored. You might as well have a look at some anatomy books, start to learn your way through it, which way the blood flows, which way it goes. A good steel pen. As Maynard suggested, a good pen works as well. You know, although these are improvised weapons and the law will still look the same at you, I think there's 100% more chance of you guys actually being able to use these than being able to use a knife on a person, because you're nice people. Hi, Mario. There's an awful lot of chaos going on at the moment with the coronavirus and all of those sorts of things. But one of the things I've been thinking about recently is how you actually win a home invasion, and how you win if things get tough on the streets and people start being nasty to each other for food. I mean, you saw what they were doing for toilet paper. One of the books I've almost finished reading suggests that there are 5 things you need to be able to do to win an encounter. Hi, Dan. You've got to be able to win the initial act. You've got to be able to stop the attacker. You must be cleared of all criminal charges. You must win the civil court, and you must be able to emotionally handle the aftermath. Now, there's a lot there, and usually as martial artists, we only deal with you must be able to act and you must be able to stop the attacker. We don't often think about the criminal charges that might come about. We certainly don't think about what happens in a civil court. If the gentleman, for instance, tries to leave and you do even more damage to them, what's going to happen legally and monetary wise about that? And being able to handle the emotional aftermath. You know, I think you would be able to handle the emotional aftermath of hitting someone with a torch an awful lot more than stabbing them. But needs must. Dan says hi to everybody. Oh, hi there. So needs must. Also, reasonable force. What's reasonable to you isn't what's reasonable to strangers. And we've got to be able to justify what we're doing to a court of law. So that's something that's worth thinking about as well. At the moment, I'm pretty sure that the asocial killers are getting ready to have a party. So they're inside. Justification is a yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Maida. The asocial people, the people that look at us as just meat, where the sausage game come from. They want our money, they want our life, or they just want us as sexual objects. Now, there's going to be a rise of asocial predators going on because they're not out in the streets as much as they were before. They weren't able to go to the pub and have their near misses. So I think that it's actually going to get worse. Now, the latest police stats I've got is brilliant. Hey, Chris, is brilliant. They've actually gone down over the last week.
but it's only been a week. Things are going to get a little bit worse, I think, before they get better. Okay, so have a think. You must be able to act. You must be able to stop the attacker. You must be cleared of all criminal charges. You must win in a civil court, and you must be able to emotionally handle the aftermath. All right, excellent. Thank you very much, all gentlemen and lady. That's now not on the bed anymore. One of the other things as well, just before we go, is if anything does happen, you are going to have to act. Don't deny it is happening. Yeah, good point, Dan. I'm sending them out a PDF with all the little bits in that I've been going through anyway. But oh, there we go. Don't deny it is happening. Okay, you're going to have to act. You're going to have to act quick. Even if it's just a case of a false alarm and you go out there and you bang your door and make a bit of a noise and nothing happens. That's better than the opposite. Brilliant. Thank you very much, lady and gentlemen. Dan and Chris, Maynard, Tony. We've got Gary up there as well. Excellent. Thank you very much, gentlemen.